Unlike the second boss, this fight is a heavy DPS and healing check and leaves little room for error on the gimmicks this fight has. This is a one-tank fight, and as far as healing, in the video we used 2 clerics, a bard, and a chloro. With the amount of AoE damage that goes on as this fight progresses, it helps to have a group suited to handle such healing. You also need strong single-target healing for the player that gets focused by his beam attack. At the start of the encounter, engage Thalguur in the middle of the arena. You need to pick a player that is not the tank to pick up the impressive shovel that is glowing in the center. This player's responsibility will be explained shortly. The first attack you need to look out for is an emote that he does that says he is focusing his energy on a certain player. This is a channeled attack that does a massive amount of damage. Your healers need to react very quickly to this and keep them topped up, otherwise this will indefinitely kill them. The second attack your healers need to watch out for is when he does a ground pound. This is an AoE attack that damages everybody in the raid. This needs to be healed up very quickly. He will also randomly target a player, turn to them, and cast out a knockback. The timing on it is actually rather hard to avoid, or at least when we were doing it, it seemed almost instant. So it's something you have to work through for the time being. At 90% and subsequently every 20% of his health afterwards, he'll run to one of the outlying pillars and smash it. Doing so will cause a large amount of crystals to spawn on the ground. Players in the raid need to pick up these crystals as they will increase the player health, player attack power, and spell power, and energy regeneration. Thalguur also gets a stacking buff that increases his damage done and decreases his damage taken. We found having caches helped out here due to spell power scaling. A heavy physical group will have issues with this fight as AP scales absolutely horribly. Each crystal phase we found it best if each member picked up 5 crystals. So just kind of call out who is at what number and make sure you don't have somebody running around clicking everything. The crystals do have a 2-minute debuff, so in the bizarre chance a player misses a crystal during the phase, the debuff will fall off and they have a high chance of dying in the upcoming attacks. Another thing to watch out for in the crystal phase is Thalguur will spawn ghost ads. The ghost ads start at 1 and increase in number through each crystal phase. The player that you designated to pick up the impressive shovel at the beginning needs to run one of the dirt mounds, click it to uncover a treasure chest. When this happens, one of the ads will run to that chest and despawn. Do this for as many ghosts that are up. After the first crystal phase, there are 2 new abilities to watch out for. The first is when Thalguur emotes Greed is Good. This puts a debuff on a random raid member that steals the crystal buffs from players around them. This player needs to run out of the raid to avoid stripping the buffs and causing a death. The last thing to look out for is from one of the broken pillars. A yellow beam will channel on a player. This player needs to immediately run to that pillar. When this occurs, that player receives a healing debuff. However, if they do not run to the pillar in time, the entire raid receives that healing debuff, which in the later phases is incredibly hard to heal through. And that's basically it for the entire fight. Keep that up through each of the crystal phases, and you should be fine. Thank you for watching the video here. If you have any other questions or comments, please shoot me a message or visit us at our good website, www.zombieghost.com.